Hello, welcome everyone. Once again, this is Digital Tools for Student Success. As you can see, this fancy graphic that I only put words on, in other words, it's not me. This is a session mostly about technology. We'll get into a little bit more what it's about in a second, but I want to introduce myself first. My name is Andy Clark. I'm the Senior Coordinator for Learning Space Technology here at Baylor University. I work in the libraries with technology, and I'll let Donna introduce herself.
And I'm Donna Herbert. I am the Director for Client Support Services, which is a fancy term for I work at the help desk. And so we take the phone calls from people whose computers are broken, phones don't work, etc. So
Apologies about the flickering.
Yeah.
Come back on, so now. So as you can tell, we both work with technology. That's going to be kind of the focus of our session here today. But we're going to talk about a couple other things first. Right off the top, I want to let you guys know, I know that orientation is a time when you're sort of drinking from a fire hose information-wise. They're throwing a lot at you guys in like a day and a half. So I know that when you go to sleep tonight, you're going to forget most of what I have told you in this session, and it will be a lot, I promise. But this right here, this URL, you can find this entire presentation I'm going to use with all of the links. It's got a whole lot of click for more details, stuff like that. So write this down, tattoo it on your foreheads.
take a picture.
Take a picture, whatever works for you. You know, I mean, like, I could jump straight to under there. But, so that, remember that, refer to it later, a week from now, a month from now, when you have a chance to process all the information, if you want to come back to it. This is there for you guys. Additionally, if you need an accessible version, a PDF is available. If you have this whole URL, except you tack a number 2 onto the end of it. /helpdesk/tour2. You can get a PDF of this entire presentation. Same thing, works great with screen readers, stuff like that. So I'll say that a few times, like if you remember only one thing, remember this is the first one, remember this URL, because it will help you get back to all this wonderful information that we've collected for you here. And again, I said this session is about like technology and media. This is a little bit of an outline of what we're going to get into. First thing, we're going to talk about literacy in a university context. That's going to frame our discussion of our technological tools. And then we're going to get into the tools themselves, stuff like that. Talk about stuff that is available to you guys as members of the Baylor family. So, first off, this is a picture of wonderful Moody Library where I work. It's super cool, beautiful, lots of windows, lots of books. Donna works in a cave, kind of. You should come check out Moody Library if you haven't already. It's really great. And speaking of libraries and literacies, if I mention literacy, a lot of you probably think of books, right? Written word, right? Papers, things like that. That is a common, but slightly not outdated, but an older way of using the term and the notion of literacy. This is a big long quote here from a research article about literacy and meta-literacy, but the bold and italicized portion basically gets at what I want to hone in on to frame our discussion, and that is the idea that information comes to you a lot of different ways, right? So you don't only read stuff in books anymore, right? Maybe you read something, in a digital format like a book. Maybe you read something on social media like a tweet, right? Which is already, you have to translate how you communicate that same idea. Maybe you see something in a video and communicates information. Maybe that's spoken somehow, tone of voice comes into play. Maybe you see something in a meme, right? Which often, by the time you see the meme, it's like a joke, riffing on a joke, riffing on a joke, riffing on a joke. So you have to understand several layers of context for it to be funny. Otherwise, people are just like, what does this even mean? Y'all can come on in. Yeah, come on in, you're good. No, totally fine. Totally fine. Please, we got a whole lot over here. Don't feel bad, walk front. It's okay.
It's okay. You got it mismatched.
You really haven't.
Just in time.
So I'd say all that to say, information comes at us a lot of different ways, both digital and analog, right? Printed books, digital tweets, and other things like that, everything in between. And to navigate the world in the 21st century, you have to be skilled at shifting between all these modes, right? Because the information is not only going to ever come to you in one way. So our goal here at the university is to prepare you for doing that come on, y'all. Don't feel bad walking past me. Our goal at the university here is to kind of help you gain those skills and those literacies in these different forms of communication. And that is information literate individuals will be able to do that, make sense of it across the way that it's transmitted. This is a statement from our core curriculum, which kind of gets at the same idea, being able to make sense of how information comes at you, how it will vary. The mode itself of the information may change, but being able to make sense of that, break it down, break it into its parts, and then actually maybe even communicate it back out in perhaps another way. That is a person who is skilled at multiple literacies. And that's the kind of stuff that we're aiming to give you across your entire learning experience here at the university. It's not like a library-specific thing or specific discipline. This is like a holistic idea of what we want to try to have you gain the skills while you're here at Baylor. And to get at this idea of kind of the different modes of literacy, how we shift between them a lot, I want to take a minute to look at this picture. So again, we're in Moody Library where I work. Really cool, lots of windows, lots of books. Here we see two individuals. The person on the right is a retired professor, Professor Emeritus. I kid you not, his name is Dr. Tom Hanks. That is real. He's the nicest person you will ever meet. You probably will see him on campus at some point. He's just the most friendly person ever. The nice lady on the left, I believe, based on how long I've been doing this presentation, I think she's probably graduated at this point. But she, at the time, was a student. And I want to hone in here and just kind of ask broadly, no wrong answers. You can shout out answers, you can raise your hand, whatever you like. I want you guys to just tell me, what do you see in this picture?
Books.
Technology, okay, I heard books, yeah, right, okay, so obviously we've got like books in the background, right? That's right, yeah, so she's reading like an analog book, if you will, and he's reading something digitally on his phone, right? You know, we can't tell what it is, but that contrast, like you said, it's a flip of the norm, right? If I were to tell you, you're going to see a picture of a very old professor and a young woman who's a college student, one of them will be reading their phone. Which one would you have guessed, right? But we all do this, right? This is going to be a theme throughout this entire little exercise. What else do we see?
Music.
Music, yeah, she's got AirPods in. Now, I don't know how you can read words and like listen to music or like a podcast. That her brain is incredible. I don't know, but she's doing something like that. But yeah, again, consuming some sort of information, even if it's just auditory, like music to relax her, help her think, or whatever. Already, she's got two modes going on at the same time, right? Right there. Anything else?
Maybe distraction, like he's got his phone, but a book on his lap.
Yeah, that's right. He does have a book on his lap, right there. Sorry, I won't only favor that screen too over here. Yeah, he's got a book on his lap. So it's possible maybe he paused reading a book to check an email or respond to someone, or maybe this where they roll it out eventually as we get closer to the fall. But once you get access, I recommend poking around, kind of checking it out, get a feel, because you'll be in Canvas a lot. They also have mobile apps, so you can check the stuff on the fly on your phone or tablet.
And if you check it before classes start, don't panic if you don't see anything, because the instructors are in charge of when they make that available for you to see.
Yes.
So.
Some of them wait until the very last minute.
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah. Next, paw prints. This is our campus subsidized printing service. So hear me say right now, do not bring a printer to campus. It will only cause you a headache. Setting them up in the dorms is a huge pain. You can't do it wirelessly, so you have to do it wired, and it's just kind of a pain in the neck. And we've done a lot of work to make it easier for you so you don't have to worry about that. So as you see on this first bullet point here, we have over 120 printers across campus in every academic building, places like the student union building, several in the library. Every dorm has at least one, usually in the common area by the front desk. These are used through this system. Basically what happens is you install a little software package that will install what are called printer queues. There are 4 of them. You get black and white one-sided, black and white two-sided, color one-sided, color two-sided. You print to one of those queues, and the software will sort of hold your print job in a queue. Then you go into the other half of it and say, I want to release this print job to printer X. And they're always labeled kind of where they are. So we are in Foster, room 107 right now. So if there were a printer, say, in that corner, I would say I'm releasing it to the printer in Foster 107. When I do that, it will charge me. You do get charged, but you get money, and it would release the job to that printer at that point. Your job can be held into the queue for up to 24 hours. And so the cost per page, you do black and white two-sided, which is the cheapest, it's 7 cents per page. You get $28, which is good for 800 black and white two-sided print jobs. If you print color and one-sided, it costs a little bit more. I think it gets up to like 35 cents a page. But fret not, because it is extremely rare to actually run out of paw prints money. I have been here a long time, between being a student and now working here. I've only seen it happen a handful of times. So don't worry, paw prints is great. And I know that may sound like a lot, maybe really confusing. Allow me to take a moment to plug Help Desk Plus, where I work. So in the library, in the garden level, which is what we call the basement, because it sounds a lot nicer than basement, I help run a place called Help Desk Plus, along with a guy named Luke, who we will see actually in the presentation. This is a nice picture of him. And we are a walk-up help desk for folks with technology needs. So I mentioned earlier that I work in one department of technology, Donna works in another one. So Luke works in the same department as Donna. We're kind of the two big departments on campus, so we both have a presence here. So kind of anything across the board that is technology issues, you have a place you can walk up, get issues, get help with issues from like I can't get on the Wi-Fi, I can't get paw prints to work, all the way to like I need to reset my password, my duo's messed up, everything in between. We've got a place for it, and we also check out equipment and things like that we'll get into in a little bit. But all that to say, paw print sounds a little overwhelming at first. Come see us at Help Desk Plus in the Garden Level Moody Library. We will help you with this. Once you do it like once or twice, it will make total sense, and you'll never have to think about it again. This is a very common question for first-year students. Don't feel bad at all. It really is just kind of, you have to do it once or twice, and then it makes sense. But I'm going to say a few times to come see us in the Garden Level Moody Library, so get used to that. I'll even show you what it looks like later on.
And you do get $28 each semester.
Per semester, yes, that's right. Speaking of not setting up printers in the dorms, this slide is mostly to tell you about a department called Res Tech. That's short for Residential Technology. They're the folks that do the tech in the residence halls. When you move in, which is a crazy time, I'm very happy that I don't have to do it again because it's it's wild. Anyway, there will be a Res Tech person in every dorm who's around to help everybody get set up, and they are your first go-to person for tech issues in the dorms, right? So every dorm has Wi-Fi, and they also have like Ethernet connections, like one per sort of person in the room. So if it's a two-person room, you have two. If it's a three-person room, you got three. If you have issues with stuff like that, or getting game systems set up, things of that nature, your Res Tech folks are going to be the people who help you with that. They usually are officed in the dorm somewhere. If you ever need help with that kind of thing, the front desk will know where to point you. The front desk of the residence hall, that is. Next, we've talked a little bit about digital media and how it's like a useful way to communicate, and it's different from like the written word, right? If you are interested in that now, at any point in the future while you're here at Baylor, we have stuff available for you to experiment and try stuff and just like actually make things in that realm. A number of ways. The first one is called Kaltura, and it's a video software suite that we have here on campus. You will probably encounter this in your classes because there's a lot of video content in schoolwork these days. It is integrated into Canvas, and there's also a public-facing component called Mediaspace. I'm not gonna go too much into that because I'm confident that you guys will be able to handle it. And also, if you end up having questions, I'm the guy who runs it all, so you'll end up talking to me anyway. Second one there, I mentioned that Help Desk Plus has some things we check out. We also have spaces where you can do audio and video recording. So we've got a video booth that is set up with a 3-point lighting system, really nice camcorders. We've got a teleprompter. It is set up so that you bring in like a flash drive, you plug it in, lights turn on when you plug in your flash drive, press record, do your video however you want to do. There's different backdrops you can set up to configure the shot. Whenever you're done, you press stop and it'll save it, and you just take that flash drive and go on your merry way, and you have a nice high quality video without having to be an expert in setting up white balance and making sure that everything about the camera is set up correctly, which backdrop. It's very DIY and super awesome. Similarly, we have 2 audio booths. They're sound isolated and they have professional grade audio equipment in them. And they're all free. You can reserve them, go in there, experiment, make things. Sometimes you'll have assignments that will take you down there. This kind of stuff is what I talked about at the beginning, right? You know how to communicate in all these different methods of communication. You're literate in them, and now like putting that into practice often involves using our spaces and our equipment. Additionally, Adobe Creative Cloud is available on Baylor computers. It is unfortunately not free for students. It is free on these machines, which are publicly accessible to students all around campus. It is discounted if you want to get it on your own machine. I think it's like $20 a month instead of $50, something like that. But anywhere you can log in on a public machine, they're around this building and many others. It will be installed on there and you can use it for free. Speaking of software, yes?
I had a question about the Adobe. Are
Yes.
there spaces in Baylor where you can go to work on a project with Adobe that you won't be?
Yeah, there are a few. So Help Desk Plus has a few like editing computers that are set up for nonlinear editing and kind of reservable and bookable. Depending on major as well, like Film and Digital Media has some areas set up for editing and things like that. So there are a few. Beyond that, it's most of the computers are kind of first come, first serve.
Okay.
They're not always lab spaces, but they're often kind of around in a handful of kiosks at a time or whatever, but it's installed on all of them. So if you're doing longer term stuff, I would look at a reservable space. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any other questions? Cool, okay. Next, software in the vein of Adobe. In general, the axiom is like, if you need it for coursework, it is probably already available to you in some capacity. So a lot of this looks like, well, let's go through. So every Baylor student gets one Windows 10 or 11 license for free. You also get, as we mentioned, access to Office 365. And then the rest of this list, JUMP, SAS, SPSS, Mathematica, MATLAB. These are programs for like statistics and math courses. If you need those, your professor in the class where you need it will have instructions on how to install it, because we have already handled licensing, paying for that program for you to use in your academic coursework. The second bullet point is what I just went over. Creative Cloud is available on Baylor machines, and it is discounted for students if you would like to get a personal license. You get a discount, I think, for as long as you're a student. Maybe even a little after, I don't know how often they check. Additionally, there's some other stuff, right? You have some things like Autodesk tools that are free for education students. Many other things offer education discounts, Parallels, VMware, SolidWorks, more. And just click for more details, it goes out to a full list of software that is either free, otherwise available, discounted, whatever, on Baylor's website, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. The general gist, like I said, is that if you need it, it has probably already been provided for you in some capacity. To that end, can anyone tell me what this is in this picture?
Some kind of charging station?
No, it's a good guess, but anybody got another guess?
An arc reactor?
No, it's not an arc reactor. Unfortunately, that is still property of Tony Stark. That patent. Anybody else? Thank you. Yes,
I have no
ma'am.
idea what that is, but to me, in my opinion, it looks like a close-up on like the wheel of a toy car.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Nice perspective.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to tell you guys what this is, because it's a real unique situation, which is kind of the point. This is a whole bunch of GoPros set up in a rig to record 360 video. Sounds like people had a guess here. Yeah. So this was used by our music department to film production of an opera a couple years ago. So that rather than having, so we're recording the session here today, rather than having a video kind of in the back of the room, where you're just sort of sitting in the audience, right? The recording is actually from the middle of the stage, and it's in 360, so you get to sort of be in the middle of the performance as it's happening, right? This is super cool. Fun exploration of new digital media technologies. 360 video is very cool, very immersive. The point of this slide is to say that there are a lot of sort of special cases like that where departments are exploring things in a particular class, or somebody wants to try a new project. Often that involves unique software, unique setups like this. That is often provided for you guys in some capacity. We work with software vendors and all kinds of stuff to get you guys the tools you need, again, to practice these skills, these different literacies. You guys see I'm coming back to this theme a lot, right? That's the thing, and also I want to point out this really cool 360 video rig. So, spaces and resources available specifically in Moody Library, where I work with all the books. You've seen it. I mentioned Luke a minute ago. That is him right there, the beautiful bald head. He is not here this afternoon, but he works with me at Help Desk Plus, and yeah, sorry, that's Luke. So this is Luke at Help Desk Plus, helping one of our student workers whose name is Innocent, and we help run this space that offers, like I said, walk-up tech support, and also we check out a lot of equipment ranging from laptops and computer chargers to headphones to adapters to flash drives. Calculators, surge protectors, you name it, we probably have it. Additionally, we have a lot of multimedia equipment. I've hinted at this a little bit. We have studio spaces to record. We also have equipment you can check out and take with you. Cameras, microphones, audio recorders, backdrops, lighting. He's looking something up. Maybe he has notes on his phone, something like that. But yeah, again, pivoting between the digital and the analog, right? It's very common. Anything else we see? There's a couple other things to notice in this picture.
She has a laptop charging it?
She does, yeah, at her feet down here, there's a laptop. I think that is actually a laptop she checked out from the desk where I work, which we'll get into in a little bit. Not 100% on that, but I'm pretty confident. But yeah, again, maybe she's working on a paper and she had to stop to check her sources, right? Something like that. So you pause for a second, pull out the book, read through it, pivot back to the digital again. Maybe she's working on a presentation like I built like this that's all digital, but it's not as simple as typing. You never know what the context is, but again, we're pivoting these modes of communication. There's one other thing, it's a bit tricky to spot. Let's see if you guys can spot it.
He's got a backpack.
He does have a backpack, that's true. It's kind of hard to see, I think it's in the corner, yeah, like right here. He does. No idea what's in there, probably more books than I had to guess. Dr. Hanks taught English, so there's a good chance he had a lot of books. One other thing, I'll give you a hint, it is Dr. Hanks we're looking at here. The hat, he does have a hat, signature hat. That is just another bit of his persona.
He's got a watch.
He has 2 watches, that's correct. If you look on his left wrist, he's wearing an analog watch right there. And on his right wrist, he's wearing an Apple Watch. So, I don't know, like, one to tell the time, one to tell your heart rate, or like read your emails. I'm not sure how he employs that, but I think that in itself is a perfect distillation of what I'm talking about here, right? We have all these different things intertwined in our daily lives already. That is just a fact of the matter of fact, whatever the phrase is. Living in the 21st century, that's how life is, right? This is already a thing that you all are doing. While you're here, we want to help you do that better. And so with that in mind, thinking about how we already utilize all these modes of communication, how we want to learn to do it better, we're going to get into some of that through the rest of this presentation. So back to that first article, this is another quote I'm not going to read to you, but the idea is, again, the method of delivery may change, but we want you as skilled and literate individuals to be able to pivot between these different modes of information, make sense of it, and help make sense of the world around you. With that said, we're going to jump into the tools that Baylor provides for you to be able to do these things and practice these skills. And number 1 is your Bear ID. Donna, take it away.
Okay, so your Bear ID, you're probably very familiar with. It is your first name, underscore, last name, and some number. If you have a very common name, you may just have an initial for your first, before the underscore. If you have a very common name, you may have a 14 or a 15 or a 20 as your number afterward. That's just the way that it gets generated. So your Bear ID is your username for, I can't think of anything that doesn't use it. So every application you're going to log into is going to take your Bear ID or your email address as your username. In very few applications, the Bear ID is case sensitive, but most of the time you can just zip right through it with caps lock off and enter it in and go with it. If you put the @baylor.edu on the end of it, that's your email address. You have to use your email address to log into some applications. Your password is the same, no matter Bear ID only or email address. Your password is always case sensitive. One of the things that we try to preach is do not share your password. Nobody but you needs to know your password. Don't give it to your roommate, don't give it to your sister, don't give it to anybody, because nobody else needs that password but you. I realize that at this point of your Baylor career, your parents probably know your password, and that's fine, that's between you all two. If you want to change it at some point, though, that's up to you, because this is your account. And FERPA laws exist, unfortunately. And trust me, I am a parent of a college student, and it sucks, because you're paying the bill, or maybe most of you are paying the bill, and you don't get to see the stuff. Okay. Once again, if you have a great relationship with your child, that's between y'all. We do have the Duo system, and y'all are familiar with that too. Duo is the second layer of security for nearly everything here. So when you put in your Bear ID and password, you're going to get a Duo notification on your phone or your tablet or however you have it set up. If you are not actively logging into something and you get a Duo alert, deny it, because somebody has your password. And our security system monitors, so if you've logged into something and authenticated with Duo here in Waco, and then 5 minutes later you get an authentication from Nebraska. If you can teleport or whatever, that's fine, time travel. Otherwise, that means that somebody else has your password. And it's happened to me before too. I've been told you need to change your password. But as long as you don't let them in with Duo, your information here is safe. So, unless you're actively logging in, do not accept a Duo notification. I think that's about it.
Yeah, and I mentioned before, this presentation has a lot of like click for more details. This little button right here, some of these have videos. Again, a useful tool to refer to this presentation later. And for those of you who came in a little bit late, we can find this entire presentation, even after we're done today, at baylor.edu/helpdesk/tour, TOUR. I know that you guys get a lot of information. I want everybody to be able to look at this later when you've slept and forgotten most of what we told you today. So, yeah, jumping on the next thing, Wi-Fi.
Okay, our Wi-Fi system here on campus is called AirBear WPA2. You should be able to connect to it with your Bear ID and password. The first time you log into it, you may get a certificate notification, so it's okay to trust that. It should happen only once, and then you're on the network. The Wi-Fi is available in every campus building, and it will bleed out into some of the green spaces too. There's no guarantee of it out there, but inside the building, you should be able to connect to Wi-Fi. There's also an option under the network choices of BU Guest. Unfortunately, that's not as friendly as it sounds. That is for organized events here on campus, and we set a username and password for those, so unfortunately parents cannot use it even though we love you here as guests. And I think that's there. Okay. All right. Outlook is our email system here on campus. It's part of the Microsoft Office suite, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But as I said before, your email address is your Bear ID at baylor.edu. To quickly get to your email account, you can go to mail.baylor.edu, and that'll jump you onto the web page where you log in with your email address and password, and you can check your email there. It's a good idea to start checking your Baylor email regularly, starting now, because at some point it'll switch over and that will be the main source of communication for Baylor, or between Baylor and you. That's all I have here.
Office 365.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, Office 365, or Microsoft 365, I think is the official name. You get the entire suite, which is Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever is all there. You get that as a student for free. And so you can go to portal.office.com and log in with your email address and password and have access to all of those apps. At this point, all you have access to is the online versions of those software. But after August 13th, which is summer commencement, give it a few days and then try logging in again, and you should see a button that says Install Office, and that will download the apps onto your computer or your device or whatever. The subscription is good for up to 5 devices, so you can put it on your phone, your tablet, your laptop, or whatever, desktop, whatever.
You get it for as long as you're here, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is yours for as long as you're a student. So, and we have some cloud storage options for you. OneDrive is the Microsoft option, and that's available at the portal.office.com. We also have Box, and that is another cloud option for you. Cloud storage is good for collaboration, any kind of group projects. You can share documents, collaborate with your classmates or whatever. So you can put those documents in OneDrive or in Box. OneDrive is a great option if you are a Windows user, because if you use the apps and back up to OneDrive, it'll save automatically, and you can back up your computer there just in case it crashes. And that way you'll have a backup of what you need and you won't lose anything important.
Yeah, I definitely encourage you guys, like she mentioned the collaboration tools. I think OneDrive supports like real-time, multiple people working on documents, which is super valuable if everybody's kind of trying to compile, like we've all done a little piece, now we need to assemble this. But yeah, like let me just underline for everyone, backing up your schoolwork. You don't want to be a student who's like going to the library and you're working on paper all night and it's like 2 a.m. and you're almost done, your computer dies and you lose all of the work. It's not a real story. It's not happened to anyone in particular in the room at this point. No, it's crushing. It's a huge bummer. So make sure you consistently back up your work, because then you can go and access it on any other computer, which there are tons all over campus that are publicly accessible to you as students, and you can pull up that work and resume right where you were. And like she said, if you're using OneDrive, it's a very like smooth, you don't even see it happen, it just sort of auto-saves as you're working. You stop typing for a few seconds and it'll auto-save, so it's up to the minute. And there's also versioning, which means if you accidentally delete a big chunk of your work and it saves, you can go back and like restore the previous version before that happened, which is again a huge lifesaver in certain situations. Canvas, anybody used Canvas before? Yeah, a few of you guys. Anybody use like Blackboard, Moodle, Brightspace, I think is another one. These are all learning management systems, which really just means they're an online component of your courses. So at Baylor we use Canvas. Every class you take at Baylor will have some online component in Canvas. Now what that will look like can vary greatly depending on your faculty. So some faculty will take a lot of time, a lot of care, build out really nice looking pages and have like sort of a sequential series of modules, flows very nicely and all of that. Some will upload a syllabus and say, great, see you on day one, and that's kind of all you get. It totally depends, but there is some component of this that will be represented online for every course you take. You can also connect with your classmates here. It's really nice if you miss a day, you need to find somebody who can see if you get the homework assignment, things like that. Hey, what did I miss? You can connect with them through Canvas. Also, your faculty will probably use this to email like the whole class at once. Things like that. There's discussion boards, all kinds of stuff. If you haven't used this, I imagine most of you guys have used something like Canvas, even if it's not Canvas. And I don't think you have access yet. I think it's similar to what Donna was saying about audio kits, all this sort of stuff to make your multimedia projects. You can check it out, take it with you. All available as free library resources. Additionally, we have a Makerspace. Yes.
Do you have to be taking like a film class to
Nope.
check out that stuff?
No, it's all available. The same way you can check out a book just because you want to, right?
Okay.
I've had a book checked out from the library for months. It's like Leonard Cohen poetry just because I like it. Don't have to be related to coursework at all. In fact, we encourage you to just try stuff for fun. In that vein, this is part of our Makerspace. And I apologize for the quality of this picture. I was kind of crammed in the corner with my phone trying to take it. But you can see Scott kind of in the background here behind the words. He is looking at one of our, I think, 5 3D printers that we have. There's also a tabletop CNC up there on that shelf. Here we see like a laser engraver, a couple of vinyl cutters here. This bottom wall is sort of towards the camera, has a bunch of tools, things like that. We're also expanding into this room out here now. Our Makerspace has all kinds of stuff. We've got like fabric stuff as well now, adding more tools. I don't know, it's growing by the day. But this is all, again, stuff that doesn't necessarily loop into your coursework, but if it's things that you want to investigate, want to try out, test out, right? Like 3D printing is one that a lot of people are familiar with. Maybe haven't tried, maybe haven't dabbled. Come down, see us, try it out. And we also have really cool partnerships. So as you can see, I mentioned that this room is very tiny. I was going to cram in the corner. We are growing, but space is limited. Sometimes shop space needs a lot of space. So we have partnered with a makerspace in downtown Waco that is actually a for-profit makerspace. They're called the Maker's Edge. They have membership dues, but we have made a partnership with them through the libraries here on campus to actually offer to you, you can check out a 2-week pass. You can be a member at Maker's Edge for like 2 weeks. You can go down there. They offer fantastic training, not only on the stuff you see at our makerspace, but other things they have in their shop. You can take that training for free. You can use their equipment, things like that. All available to you as a library resource. And it's actually the first partnership of its kind in the nation that we're aware of. Very proud of that one. Last but not least, the Baylor Bookstore. Obviously, you can get all this really cool Baylor swag. You can get pillows and coffee mugs and like chevron blankets, little garden gnomes, and whatever this bowl is. But more importantly, or perhaps most importantly, it's a great place to buy technology. So a lot of you guys are probably thinking about, if you haven't already made a purchase, thinking about what kind of computer you're going to buy for the fall, things like that. I want to tell you guys about the Bookstore because they offer educational pricing, and also they usually run a sale during orientation, so check it out before you leave campus. And additionally, they are where we send people for repairs. So I mentioned that we have a walk-up desk for like help, right? You can go up and say, hey, I can't get on the Wi-Fi. We can usually fix that. Hey, I can't figure out pop prints. We can usually fix that. I need to do a reset, I need a password reset, stuff like that. If you come up and you say, hey, I think my computer's broken, we can look at it with you and we'll be like, yep, that's broken. That's as far as we can go. We don't do repairs for student machines, but we will send you to the Bookstore because they are a certified Apple repair shop, certified Dell repair shop, and they won't stiff you on prices. We know that they do good work and they give you good rates. So that is where we send people. They're really great. It's also on campus, walkable. You don't have to drive anywhere, which is really nice. So I want to tell you guys about this because purchasing, they also offer Apple Care for purchase, Safeware for folks who are getting PCs. All of that wonderful stuff. Again, click for more details. It has a little bit more information about that. But yeah, it's good to know. A few final things. First, baylor.edu/helpdesk/new student. This is another website you should remember if you only remember one thing. If you're keeping track, that's at least 2 so far. This has got a lot of information I mentioned here, a lot more further links, stuff like that. It actually has a link to this presentation. Also, shameless plug to follow Baylor Libraries and Baylor ITS on social media. ITS account will get you updates on when things are out, things are down, stuff like that. Libraries have all the stuff we have going on in the libraries, which are, myriad, too many to name here. A couple other things I want to show you guys real quick. A lot of things can be found at this website right here. Give me one sec. This is baylor.edu/helpdesk. And remember I mentioned I would tell you what the garden, I'll show you what the garden level looks like. This is one of those gardens, because we don't want to call it the basement. If you were to go in and look through these windows kind of back that way, that's where our desk is. Unfortunately, there used to be a great picture of it that they took off of this site. But this site is great because of a few things, right? First, if you need to reset your password, the link is available right there. Also, there's great Dwight Schrute memes about IT security, stuff like that. There's also a search thing here. Donna, what's a good one? Box?
Box is a good one, or you could do SPSS. Let's do SPSS.
So if I search here, you see how it filters as I type, right? SPSS is great. This will pull up a page about that specific software.
It tells you where to get it, it gives you the licensing information, and it's just a lot.
So this is a great way to access the whole database of information. I'm sorry, this is being a little slow. Box is a good one too, so you can see some of these have FAQs built into the pages. If we scroll down here, you see we've got all these accordion things here with a bunch of info. And so additionally, you can actually get to our equipment and spaces reservation tool from this same site. You see down here, I mentioned our audio booths. This is what they look like. Here's a great shot of our 3D printers in action, printing all kinds of, I'm sure, D&D minis or some dice tower or something like that. But if you click this big yellow Make a Reservation button, it will take you to this site, which is where you actually reserve all the technology we offer for checkout. And this here is, my team. I don't know who this guy is. I haven't looked at that in a long, long time. But you see here on the right, this is a list of sort of all the categories of things we offer for students, faculty, and staff. Very broad spectrum of technology equipment available to you, again, as a library resource. Much in the same way you can check out books as part of the service of the library. Technology and stuff like that is available as well. I think that's all we have for you guys. I know that there's a lot going on today. There's another session here in a few minutes upstairs. There's also Dr. Pepper hours. You guys get Dr. Pepper floats, great Baylor stuff. So I won't keep you. I will say, if you guys have other questions, we're happy to stay here and answer them, but I don't want to keep you guys any longer.